If a company can't be all in, we're going to have problems working together.
Yes, the biggest red flag is when you don't have time to. Hi, I am Colette Peterson, our Director of Services.
I'm Chris Woodard, Executive Director of Services at Media Minefield, and Colette and I are here today to talk about when not to hire a PR firm, which may seem counterintuitive. Obviously, PR is important, and that's why we have jobs. But we're also honest enough to say, and have been doing this long enough to know, it's not always the right move for everyone. So today we're going to go through and break down that decision-making process to help make it a little easy for you to know, do I hire a firm or do I not? And Colette, the first thing we always talk about is the ability to be all in. If a company can't be all in, we're going to have problems working together.
Yes, the biggest red flag is when you don't have time to work with your PR team, participate in interviews, strategize with the team that's doing outreach on your behalf. I feel like we've run into that before, and having that monthly, bi-weekly touch base with clients to make sure that they understand what we're working on. We understand what they have going on so that we can tailor and target our pitches according to what makes the most sense for them. And if you just don't have time to be doing that, you're probably not ready to hire a firm.
An agency is going to take a lot of that lift for you, but it does still need to be a little bit, you got to give them something. There needs to be a little bit of a give and take. The other aspect is everyone in that company or organization being on board. It can't just be one Marcom person that thinks we need to hire a PR agency and everyone else is like, yeah, okay, do it, but I'm not going to have anything to do with it. We run into a slew of problems when that happens as well.
Yeah. The only person that's willing to interact and hop on calls and talk to us is the marketing person, but maybe the main spokesperson or the executives are always busy or never available or don't really understand what we're doing here. Then sometimes when it comes to budget decisions or what are these people really doing, what's really the value here, if only one person understands what a PR firm is doing, you need that buy-in from leadership as well.
A few specific examples. If you have a group of executives and you want to hire a PR firm to help them with their social media, those executives have to be willing to have a social media presence. I've run into it before where everyone in marketing understands it's important and the exec is like, I don't care if I don't have to spend 1 second doing it. I don't want an active LinkedIn. Well, that's a bigger problem and a bridge that should be crossed before you're paying a PR firm money. An executive needs, subject matter experts and executives need to be willing to participate in interviews. A PR agency can get you interviews all day long, but if your people who hold the expertise aren't willing to do said interviews, you're not going to get anywhere. So those are just two specific examples. There's approvals. If agency's writing thought leadership, that has to be a give and take, right?
Yep. And if the main spokesperson or the leader wants approval of everything but never gives time to actually sit down and read the article, we've gotten in a lot of situations where we're chasing things down for months sometimes because they just don't have time. They don't prioritize it. They don't really understand what that company is even doing.
And I want to emphasize again, a PR agency is going to take a lot of this off your plate. They're going to be spending way more time than you are, but you need to be willing to spend this much time for things like approvals and updates if you want to stay aligned and work towards those same business goals.
The next sign you're not ready for a PR firm is if your website is not set up to handle PR. And that could be anything from the messaging being updated so that when people see you on the news and they go to your website, if it sort of falls flat, you're not sharing those interviews on social media. You're not ready to handle maybe an influx of people reaching out for your business or for your services after PR. All of those are signs that you're just not ready to get the most out of PR.
And I think that's part of a bigger category, right? As an organization, you need to be set up to leverage PR. Website is part of it. If PR is going to bring you new attention, you need to be able to handle those increased orders if it's a product. You need to be able to handle increased requests for service if you're a services organization. You have to have that infrastructure in place internally to handle more eyes on you, which is going to lead most times, if all goes well, to more business as well. And then there's a messaging consistency, right? You have to be set up that when you and that PR agency align on messaging, what the PR agency is putting out needs to align with what you have on your website. And a lot of times the PR agency is going to help you refresh that messaging. So it's having the ability to make those updates on your end. Website, executive social media accounts, it's just alignment across the board. Those are the types of things that all go into this idea of being set up to leverage the PR you are going to get. Because how many times, Colette, do we talk to clients who we get interviews for, we start doing social for, and then it just kind of sits?
Yep, and I think in the new world of AI search, we're having a lot of conversations around how important it is to put in a little extra work to post it on social media, to add it to your website. And a PR agency will do the content for you, but you might need to execute. And I think, again, back to having the time and the desire to actually do those things is more than just the one time it airs. How are you leveraging it all these different ways to make the most out of it moving forward? Okay, let's do a lightning round. We don't have to get super in depth, but there are a couple other really important things that we should watch out for.
It's like a game. Should we see how fast we can go?
Let's do it.
We'll start. You have to be willing to play the long game. A reason not to hire a PR firm is if you're not willing to. PR doesn't create immediate orders always the next day. You have to build up. You have to build up to national placements. You have to build up to being known in that local community.
Yes, another big one, and it feels like maybe the most obvious, but you need budget to pay for PR. Good PR is not cheap, it's not free, and it takes time. So making sure that you've got the budget, maybe for a quick project, depending on your needs, that might make sense. But if you're playing the long game and you need a couple years of maybe building your brand and getting yourselves out there, you kind of need a budget for it.
Another red light is if you only want an interview on a specific TV station or in a specific outlet, that's only going to get you so far. Work with that agency. There are a lot of areas that can probably help you. Some you may not have thought of, but that's another red light, is if you only want to get in one specific spot, don't spend the money on a PR agency who's going to want to do a lot more to help you.
Similar to that is only wanting to talk about certain topics or getting a topic. Maybe the news wants to talk about something that isn't super in your wheelhouse, but trust the PR experts to work in your messaging and make sure that you are the quoted expert is still a win and more important than not being quoted at all. But I think being really, really open to different topics where we can work your messaging and your expertise in is important.
Another one is not understanding the value of PR. You don't need to know PR inside and out. That's why you're hiring an agency, but you at least have to buy into the value, how these things help GEO, how important an executive's reputation is to your overall brand reputation. You have to believe in those things, otherwise it's not gonna work.
Yep. Another one is that maybe you already have a PR firm and you're trying to bring another agency in and maybe their roles aren't really clear in working together. We, I think, have worked alongside plenty of agencies, but making sure that everyone knows what their specific marching orders are. The worst thing you can do is have two teams working for the same thing and not talking to each other. So alignment, if you already have a PR team or maybe a digital advertising team, like how are they working together and making sure that everyone knows very clear goals for each agency.
The last one I've got is if you aren't willing to give up any semblance of control. PR is a couple different things, right? Yes, you have control over every word in social media. Yes, you have control over every word in a blog or a thought leadership article. No, you do not, nor will you ever have control over every word in an interview or an article that's written about you. You can control your message, but you have to understand you're not going to get final approval to nitpick every sentence and word. If that's what you want, don't go the PR route of earned media. Stick to things like blogs and thought leadership. All right, that's our lightning round. If we had to sum it all up, Colette, into some key takeaways, if people are, what do we always tell our clients? When you walk out of an interview, what's the one or two things you want people to know? What's the one or two things that we want people to know about what we had to say today? I think a few of them fall into this category of like, do your homework and be ready. We talked about it, right, in terms of multiple people have to buy in. You have to believe in the value. So get that internal alignment. Get set up internally before you hit go with a PR agency.
I think PR is a big trust thing too, so make sure that you trust the agency you're hiring. Ask all the questions in the onboarding process. Ask for feedback, give feedback back and forth. I think making sure you feel good about who's out there speaking to media about you and your business and trying to elevate your presence. Make sure that you really trust the people you're working with.
One last point on that, expect honest feedback too, right? If you're interviewing agencies and you feel like all they're doing is telling you what you want to hear, like that could be a red flag. A good agency is going to tell you what you need, and sometimes it might not be something that you came in thinking you need, and that should be a good conversation and a good back and forth.
I think the goal, especially when we work for clients, is to be as seamless and as easy as possible, where you can just sort of click a button and you get really great PR. But I think being willing to put in the time and make sure it feels like a partnership, and that you're giving the PR team what they need to be successful, and it does take a little time. And participation is the best way that you're going to get value out of your PR.
Lots of value in PR, not always right for everyone.